Well, my best villain of all time, Dr. Doom.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Bad guy shit you could ever have. I laugh the whole night. The guy best dressed.
Yeah, Todd, you let us know. I will start the countdown clock.
Go ahead and start the
which
timer.
We don't ever pay attention to that much.
Well, it does help kind of keep us in line of like, hey, we're almost done. We need to wrap this shit up.
Yeah. So is go time? Is go time?
It's been go time. We're actually live streaming today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinary.
Coming to you from beautiful downtown Renton, and we're here at the Renton Civic Theatre, the historical Renton Civic Theatre, once again in the projection room.
As always.
Relegated upstairs. Big production going on. Rent is getting ready to start, so they are busy with the stage. So to my right is my main man, the mayor himself, Mike.
Hello.
A little farther to my right is cousin Todd on the big board.
Hi, I'm back here in the corner. You can't see me.
Yeah. And we've got a special guest with us today. We've got Chief from, remember, it's
HaazLab.
HaazLab. Very cool maker that we met at the Oddmall last weekend in beautiful Monroe, Washington. So he has graciously come to join us today, and we'll talk to him about that. He's going to join us on all kinds of discussion stuff, we hope. So
yeah, I got some time today.
All right on, man.
Sweet.
Welcome.
Yeah, he when I initially, reached out to him because I was buying the blaster from him. The stuff we're going to be talking about today is stuff he makes, and is like, if you're coming into Renton, we're recording a podcast. Do you want to jump on? He's like, yeah, I can do it for maybe 30 minutes or so. I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, whatever you can do. And then, like, late last night, he's like, hey, I can stick around longer if you want. He's like, that's even better, man. So, yeah.
I'm right on.
Happy to have you.
30 minutes to set this room up.
Yeah,
exactly.
All my plans got canceled. Everything was just falling apart behind the scenes.
It just fell right into place like it was meant to be.
Like it was meant to be.
So, guys, tonight's safe word, if anybody has any issues, is noodle. So just keep that in mind if you feel unsafe or if Mike tries to grab your knee or something. So
no door. That is a fine knee.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Took the time. I'm glad I'm taking the time right now.
Todd, can you turn up the gain on these two gentlemen's mic?
I'm turning.
I can just scoot up a bit.
Oh, there you go.
That's all the way up. Yeah.
All right.
I just kind of leaned, a Dean Martin style into everybody's mics.
There you go.
Throughout the night.
You just follow it.
Yeah.
Hi, you're darn.
Why?
I don't know. Jeez. That happens to me after a dip in the pool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And if you guys hear some extracurricular noise out there,
it's because I turned the gain all the way up.
Well, and they're testing mics.
They're tested mics for the show and stuff.
Because there was lots and lots of people singing. I think it was a cast of 16 or something. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Right on.
So we sound like we're in a toilet right now, but that's okay.
Exactly. Are you guys okay over there?
Is that too much gain? Is that what that?
That's probably too much.
Is that too much?
I mean, I can turn it down a little bit, but then
I'm gonna back up off the mic.
Yeah, there you go. That's a little better on my earballs.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, my headphones aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything?
You can't hear anything? Oh, you're not plugged in. That might be why.
No.
Hear me?
Should we start over?
Now you can hear me.
Oh, there you go.
Now it's all good.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't hear anything. What?
Look at us. Look at us. It's a good thing you guys aren't paying for this portion. Because you'd probably want a refund.
This is the freebie. Well, this is not in real life. We didn't pretend to polish any of it, right? I barely washed my hands before I got here, people.
This is why we do
This is the best you're getting out of me. Cheapskate.
Cheapskates. Come on. All right. So as we mentioned, we've got Chief here. And Todd and I went up to Oddmall this past weekend. We wandered around.
First time for me.
First time for me as well. I was up selling games for my other
and
other
how
job.
many copies of your games did you sell?
I
I think I sold about 25, 26, something like that.
Is that a good number for you?
Yeah, it was pretty good for the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. And it wasn't even full days. I mean, we had, 8 hours on Saturday and
8 and 6, I think.
8 and 6, something like that. Yeah.
How did you do, Chief?
I'm better than it was my first time too.
Yeah.
So it was better than I was expecting. I'm used to doing Etsy stuff, and so I'll get a sale every couple of weeks, and cool, great, whatever. But this is my first time, in mass, and
did you make a decent dent in your catalog of stuff?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think I sold 9-10 pieces.
No, nice.
Wow.
So it's a pretty substantial amount. I think I've got 30 some odd sitting around, but 9 is nothing small.
Can you give us a little rundown about what you do, what you make, and what you sell?
Hey,
Todd's got an example.
You can show
I mean,
cameras right here.
Okay. So this used to be a Nerf gun. And it still functions. It does, fun Nerf things. But for the most part, what I do is, hand that up. You can play with it. It's a toy.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
I mean, how cool is that, man? I mean, I saw that. I was like, I need it. And then I saw the price. I was like, maybe later. And then I got paid a couple of days later. And I was like, I'm going to reach out and see if he still has it. And I was like, yeah.
Well, hang on. No. You can't put that back in.
Anyway.
This started as
Mike wants to...
It's got LEDs, obviously.
Yep.
And can you show us, the action and all the other things that it's capable of doing?
It's super simple. It's a Nerf blaster, so you gotta, pump it and prime it. So you pull it out like that. That'll load the next dart into it. Inside there is a UV light that would charge a glow-in-the-dark dart if you can get your hands on glow-in-the-dark darts.
I'm going to look for them. Yeah.
So once it's closed up, that internal light is still on, so it's just charging. So the moment that you fire it...
Dude, that's going to look great.
You got the sides will light up all red. No, this side will light up all red, and you got the fun pew-pew sounds.
Yeah. So you added the UV light, obviously.
I added nothing. This is all... This was a Nerf blaster that I was able to acquire and repurpose and to make better.
Okay, so it was an actual Han Solo or
it was a branded Star Wars.
It was a
Nerf
Nerf.
Okay.
It was a Star Wars branded Nerf toy and was bright orange.
Oh wow!
And so a lot of the trick is getting it to not be bright orange and keeping all of the LEDs and all the sound and everything else functional while I'm doing that.
Yeah. So getting it black, putting in the rub, so it's a well-used blaster.
It seems easy. It's like, just make it black. But it's when you're trying to paint, the shiny, glossy plastic, it's not as easy as you think.
There's a lot of work done into this, man.
There's some effort.
There's a reason why I don't. If you don't mind, I'm gonna tell them how much I paid. I paid $160 for that thing, and it's well worth it because it does not. I mean, it's clearly a toy, but it doesn't look like a Nerf gun when you look at it. It looks like a prop for like a cosplay that someone found a toy that was broken and they just painted it, and he put a lot of heart and love into that thing. I think it looks amazing. I think you could easily mistake this for a prop from a movie.
That's kind of my goal.
I agree.
I was Han Solo for Halloween a few years ago, and I was actually Han Solo getting, I had a Kylo Ren lightsaber through me.
Nice.
So you were impaled.
I was impaled, but I got a toy Han Solo blaster. I did sort of what you did because it was just all black, and I came in with the silver and made the rub stuff. But this is head and shoulders above what I had done.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I think it's amazing.
I think it's amazing.
I'm going to put a few pictures of some of the other work because Todd took some pictures of your layout at Oddmall, so I'll put one right here.
I still think his cannon is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Oh, I love my cannon.
Did you see? I showed Chuck the cannon. I was like, dude, it's a Nerf tennis ball launcher, and I go, it's what? Because it legitimately looks like something you'd see on the bow of a pirate ship.
Yeah. And it was massive too. Did you build that whole base and everything?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I took a tennis ball launcher that's meant for playing with your dog at the park or whatever, and I just built around it. And I've got a event in mid-June called the Brass Screw Consortium out in Port Townsend.
Oh yeah.
It's a big steampunk event. They do it every year. The whole steampunk is kind of takes over the whole town. But
that town is already kind of steampunk as it is.
Exactly. That's why it's a great place to do this.
Especially when you go to that purple house, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're going to have an open bar down there. They're going to have like building competitions and just a bunch of nerds nerding out.
Dude. Yeah.
Every year they try to theme it, and this year is airship pirates, and I wanted to be able to just stroll around, wielding a boat cannon. Yeah. And if I'm going to be doing that, I want it to be able to shoot something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, do you have any cool modified ammunition for that?
I just black tennis balls.
Right on.
I've been thinking about if I want to, how much experimentation I want to do. I've thought about getting tissue paper, filling it with glitter, and then putting the tennis ball in there and packing it all in as one piece and testing that out and see if I can get a muzzle flash or some kind of just sparkly or whatever.
Glitter bomb going on. That's amazing, yeah.
But at the same time, glitter is awful, and I would not
everywhere.
I would not want to do that to anyone.
Wish that on anybody.
Exactly. Maybe confetti, but we'll see. We'll see what I can do.
Paper confetti or something.
Yeah, that's probably
so the
a bit.
Seagulls are like, oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you have it set up so that you can just pull a string like a cannon, or do you have to pick it up and actually hold the trigger and stuff?
You can stay on the wooden stand. I mean, I built a wooden stand and I slapped some wheels on it that I took off of an old lawnmower. But the top primes, and there's a space underneath. You can reach it underneath it to pull the trigger of it.
Not to say what you're doing is not good enough, but I'm thinking what you should have is like maybe a string or something to put on the trigger. So all you have to do is pull a cord, like they show in movies and stuff. They pull the cord to launch the grenade, the cannon.
That was one of my original ideas, and I couldn't get it to do it reliably.
Yeah.
And so I had tested that for a while, and it's like, oh, that was so awesome. And then I do it again. It's like, butts, I can't. All right, well.
Butts,
Plus,
that's
I like
great.
the idea that it's like a steroided blunderbuss.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
What's bigger than some maniacal shotgun of your? Oh,
right.
Cannon.
But if you see me in a pirate hat kick open a door holding a cannon, it's going to leave an impression.
Right.
I mean, that's straight up like steampunk Rambo right there. If you think about
exactly.
it, just I'm your worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's probably more like Commando, like Schwarzenegger, right?
Or even Jesse Ventura in Predator.
That's right.
Because he had that minigun.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. What got you into building? Let me rephrase that. What got you into being an arms dealer?
I'm actually proud to say that as of earlier last year, I am an international arms dealer.
Oh, nice.
So I need to get new business cards that actually say that on there. I'm very proud of that. But I had gone to any number of nerd conventions. I've seen dozens and dozens of hundreds of different cosplays, and they're all wonderful and perfect and immaculate. And I am not a tailor. I can't sew, and so I see all these costumes like, I need to commission, I need to talk to someone, I need to figure out if I can work out a trade. But I'll see this great outfit, and then whatever weapon or prop or whatever they have,
bright yellow and green.
It's either bright yellow and green, it's clean,
orange.
It doesn't fit the rest of the thing.
It breaks the illusion.
And that's the thing. Is if you are, like I was talking to Todd last week, if you are Han Solo and you walk in with a shiny black new blaster, it breaks that illusion.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to be a character that is, seen the world and is weathered and is just beaten and you want your a prop, you want your weapon to also have that same character to see like it's seen the same things that you have.
Yeah, like scrape the bottom of the table when he blasted Greedo, right?
Yeah.
Or it's if it have a spot where the hand normally goes, and so maybe there's less color there, or the muzzle in the front have it sheared off.
What you need, Bill?
Working theater, ladies.
Working theater.
Excuse me, pardon me.
No, we're good. Whoop.
There you go,
Lifting.
Thank you.
There you go, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
My flip phone in there.
Is it?
It was your flip phone.
Teacher has taken it till the end of school day.
But yeah, it really just kind of came from me seeing the necessity that there wasn't enough out there that are being done for props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I have several other friends that do props, and they do like big things out of foam, and it looks great, and it's just it looks like it's right out of the video game, but video games are very clean, and I want things gritty and dirty and grimy and gross.
Yeah.
Do you do anything else besides the firearms? Do you make any other props and stuff? Do you do swords or anything like that?
Doing Nerf mods is that. I'll hand that back over to you. Doing Nerf mods is just kind of my bread and butter. I can do that. That's just an easy thing for me to do. It's a way that I can work my skill, hone my skill, get into the patterns and the colors and the design that I want to do. But I prefer doing big props like the cannon.
The cannon.
Yeah, he had a couple of battle axes there at his booth.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
You focused on the.
You had your own games.
How can you not miss all the guns? But then, I mean, granted, it took me 3 trips to his booth to see all of them because I was so hyper focused on the one that I bought, and then there's more. He has a Star-Lord blaster as well.
Oh, nice.
And then on the back wall, amongst all the really cool looking guns he had 2 very large battle axes. They were just big. Were they Nerf as well, or
no? Those are all just stuff that I built. The blades are made out of foam, so by all intents and purposes, you could define it as Nerf.
So those could be used in LARPs and buffers and shit, right?
Maybe asterisks.
They look pretty, so you probably wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Well, there are certain. When it comes to LARPing, that's one of the things. So all my Nerf guns, I don't mod the insides. When it comes to LARP, the insides have to be stock. Which, cool, great, awesome. I didn't want to mess with those anyway. When you're dealing with LARP melee stuff, there is a specific set of rules that I haven't bothered to look up because nobody's reached out to me to do that yet.
Yeah.
The axes are really more of a cosplay thing.
Sure.
So if someone reaches out and says, "Oh, I need this for this such and such character, so I need a sword or whatever," it's like, yeah, sure. You came to the right place.
Do you have a favorite, like Star Wars or Marvel, or do you have a favorite that you love to build? Or that you gravitate towards? Or is it mostly now just people asking you for stuff? Or
I kind of stick in mostly steampunk. And which is a big umbrella because you can steampunk anything.
Yeah.
And just add gears to it and it's steampunk.
Oh, don't do that to me, man. No.
No, he doesn't. Other people do.
Yes. And I mean, if you want to add gears to it and call it steampunk, there's a whole song about that. At least have the teeth interlock. At least make it look like the gears do something.
And not just be pretty.
A lot of times people put the gears on instead of like a filigree, but like I just put a filigree on there. It looks way better. Trust me.
No, I wasn't implying that you do that. So, but yeah, I've totally seen people do that where they have just random gears on hats or shirts or jackets or whatever. It's like, why do you have gears on your clothing? Is there a purpose behind that other than it just looks?
It's symbology.
Yeah, it's trying to it's an attempt. It's their version of it.
And I don't dislike steampunk. There's just a handful of people that were really into it when it first became a thing, that it just kind of like turned me off in it for a while, because essentially that was, they called Jules Vernian before. Steampunk was a new term for that, and it is like steampunk is just goth but brown.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, and it's just a different power.
It's
they're also like ether or something.
Yeah, there's a whole fantasy that you can go into. That there's a whole aesthetic.
Yeah, who's the lady from Seattle that writes a bunch of cool steampunk stuff? Man,
that's a good question,
man. Where Seattle has was destroyed in an earthquake, and there's like a yellow gaseous ooze that turns people into. It's got zombies, Bigfoot. Crap, no, she's great, man.
I'm curious about it now.
Yeah, no, she's a really neat author, and she's even got a cool handle.
It's in my head, and I just can't remember the words for it. I guess, yes.
It's not graphic novels, just a novel?
They're novels, yeah.
Okay.
Words. Yeah. But I really like
words, more words and words, some more.
So do you approach a piece with something in mind, or do you look for inspiration in different places, or do you just kind of just start dinking around with a piece and then start adding and subtracting and doing stuff? Do you have, do you go into something and say, man, I saw something I think would be awesome and I want to recreate that? What's kind of your method to the madness?
Kind of all of the above.
Okay.
One of the things I first started doing was steampunk melee, because if you get into steampunk, everyone's got a ray gun or a blaster or anything else. Like, no, I want a steampunk axe, or like a steampunk buster sword, or for a while I need to rebuild it. I had a steampunk warhammer. And the front was just a big hammerhead, and the back was a drill that actually spun.
What? Okay.
And so it's like, as I'm designing this, I'm like, all right, this thing would take out loads of killer robots. and that's kind of what it's like. As I'm making my melee, I'm like, all right, will this take out a killer robot? And that's usually my threshold for whatever I'm making. Is
nice. There was an episode of the Justice League cartoon. It was either Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. One of the two. It's the same universe, where Hal Jordan goes through a Stargate or something. I don't know what they called it, but a wormhole. And he shows up in this planet that's all steam powered and everything. The bad guy in that was a Lex Luthor type guy, but he had giant they almost looked at the AT-STs, the walkers in Star Wars that had just the 2 feet instead of the 4. But it was all steam. That's what it's called, AT-ST. But it was just a steam powered thing. And so there was a version of the Green Lantern in that universe. His ring was steam powered. It had this backpack that powered this gauntlet he had, which had this giant green lens on it. And it was fun. It was a really cool episode. I was kind of hoping they'd do more than just one because of how cool that storyline was, or at least come back to it later. But yeah. And I think the reason why we're getting a little static is because I have the iPad hooked up to everything, so might be.
Are you just blasting right into Josh's face right there?
For the most part, I can, but I've been moving it over here a little bit.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's that's my side.
Check that on my good side.
Was there anything else at Oddmall that you were just wowed by?
I didn't get a chance to wander around a whole lot for the most part. I mean, most of the time my booth was swamped with kids and dragging their dads over and trying to play with everything at once. When I didn't have people, I was luxuriating in my chair. It's but no, Chubsy Dragon to the right of me, I've known them for a good long time. They're good people. They make all kinds of really fun, weird stuff. And then the lady to the other side of me made teacups.
Yeah.
And there'd be a fancy teacup, and then you'd finish your tea at the bottom. It would say "fuck you" or "you've been poisoned," or and so they had a serving platter. It was all floral, and it was this big elegant thing, and just a picture of Ziggy Stardust in the middle of it.
Nice.
And it's there were some neat things.
Cool, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I didn't get much chance to walk around.
I did some walking around, and I think some of the things I thought were really neat were I called them chimera dolls because they were just they take heads from other dolls and arms from other dolls and then glue them to this torso. And the one he told me about, which made me go look for it, was this giant My Little Pony doll. It was like this big, it's about 1.5 feet long, and it had Grogu's head on it. And I'm like, oh man!
That was the first thing I noticed when I walked in.
Did you really destroy Grogu to make a My Little Pony?
Destroyed, repurposed.
Now, my question, and I didn't ask the guy because I was afraid to ask him. It's like, was he already broken, or did you decapitate Grogu to make this?
I feel like he probably, because there was some, it was like, Woody from Toy Story's head on something.
Dude.
And then Woody's body over here was something else's head.
Woody with the Funko Pop of Lemmy. I almost bought it.
That's right, yeah.
I almost bought it because fucking Lemmy's God, right? But, no, and I get it. These are creatives, and they probably spend hours putting these things together, but I saw that My Little Pony Grogu, and I was like, how much do they want for this? $150. I'm like, you at least put some time into making it look cool, man. This guy, he legitimately just took a head of a doll and glued it on another doll. That's it.
I think there's more to it.
That being said, when I was loading in, he had already set up a bunch of stuff, and he had Shrek's head on the Incredible Hulk's body.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
And had it been there at the end, I would have picked it up no matter what the price, because that's fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's
Yeah, we actually talked to him too, though, because we discussed where he comes up with stuff or where he finds things, and it's broken pieces. He finds them at garage sales and stuff. Just toys that people are, trying to get rid of, and he recreates something out of it.
I mean, some of them are really cool looking, and I just like, man, I was kind of mad because it was like, did you really destroy Grogu to make this? Maybe it's just I'm not a fan of like My Little Pony, and I am a Star Wars nerd, but I don't know, You're not a brony. I'm definitely not a brony. It was. I think it was also sticker shock too, because I saw that price. I was like, oh my god, okay. But there was another person who did similar things, and I thought hers were better because there was time put into making them. It looked like, because they didn't look like they were just slapped together with hot glue gun.
The one that she had that I was fascinated by, it was a Sleestack skeleton head on a
Beanie Baby.
On a Beanie Baby.
It was a chameleon. Yeah,
I thought it was just like ridiculously awesome.
That's what caught my eye when I walked past. It was like I rubbernecked. I was like, "Holy shit, is that a Sleestack head?" And she started laughing. I'm like, "Oh my god, that is awesome!"
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I didn't know they had Land of the Lost. Action figures.
I think in the last decade, Sid and Marty Krofft had a resurgence because of the movie of Land of the Lost
from Will Ferrell.
The Will Ferrell movie probably had some toys.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But she had some other ones in there, and one of them was like this. It was like a deer. It was like a teddy bear with deer antlers on it, and it had like a Cupid doll face. I was like, "Oh, it's Gus." She's like, "Gus." I was like, "Yeah." Is a Netflix series
Sweet Tooth.
Oh yeah,
Sweet Tooth.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, it looks like Gus from Sweet Tooth, and she's like, "What's Sweet Tooth?" It's a really great show. It might give you some ideas for new toys to make, because it's legit like these hybrid children who are also part animal, part human, and I started
George W. Bush warned us against.
It was like I almost want to say the Disney version of the Island of Dr. Moreau, but it was not very Disney-like.
A cool villain, but it's much more gentle.
Yeah.
Well, for people that don't know, the wife and I do a huge Halloween maze in our backyard, and I take baby dolls and I demonize them. I make all kinds of creepy friggin' little babies.
Yeah.
Because having a baby doll in a Halloween environment is creepy already.
Yeah.
But
she did
cutting open its face and putting fangs and
the lady that did the
slime.
Sleestack Beanie Baby also had some of those too. Those were the ones I was really impressed by, because they like legit. She had this. I keep saying Cupid doll, but I don't think they're actually Cupid dolls, but they're that style of cute little cherub faces. But she gothed the shit out of it. She made it like the skin's white and it had like it had like Eric Draven makeup on it and stuff, and the crow and just like gothic clothing, black gothic frilly clothing, and I was like,
Speaking of baby dolls, there was that dude that I think he was over by you, Josh, had those photographs. I don't think they were paintings, but
those are photos.
Yeah, the large photos of creepy babies in like windows and in trees and stuff like that. And I was like, that really nice stuff.
Sure.
I can't bring that home to the wife and find a spot for it, but if I could, I would.
And that's why it's the Oddmall. There's just it takes a certain kind of person to appreciate that and to be able to hang that up.
Yeah. Charles, you could probably just get one of those photos and just put it up on the wall and just wait for her to notice it.
Oh yeah, it'd be like she's a graphic designer, so it'd be like
it would be instantaneous. It wouldn't be like a day or two before she like realized you swapped something out.
All I could do is put it over my desk at home, and then whenever she came by, I could just take it down real quick or flip it around,
just leave it up, man,
and have something else on there kittens or something.
I think it would be like the guy who like replaced all the pictures of Jesus in his house with Obi-Wan Kenobi and waited to see how long his mom noticed that it was no longer Jesus in the photos.
Blue-eyed white guy.
Right? Well, it's Ewan McGregor. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I guess Alec Guinness, somebody noticed. They're like,
No, it's
old guy.
Yeah.
Poor Alec Guinness. He's actually like 41 or something at the time. They're like,
it's not really.
I don't know.
At the time that I initially saw that meme, I was like, man, I wish my mom was still alive because I would totally do that. I would be like replacing all the pictures of Jesus with Obi-Wan Kenobi from the prequels.
And then really like on the crucifixion photos, it would be Ewan McGregor from Train Spotting.
Can't do that movie. I can't do it.
It's
Gotta get it out of my head.
But the word Renton is in it.
Exactly. You only need to see it once.
And that's too many.
Yep.
That little baby on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cool, man. I had a blast at Oddmall. I thought it was cool.
Would you do it again as a?
Oh, absolutely. I have already signed up and paid my dues for that.
Yeah, they're doing like a November thing, right?
November 11th and 12th, they're doing the Creep Miss.
Okay.
And
nice.
Oddmall is pairing up with the Snowco Toy Fair, and they're doing a twofer event.
Oh.
There's going to be almost...
I was going to say, I felt a little... I mean, my games aren't odd. I mean, they're party games and they're kids' pet matching game, and they're fun and whatever. They're not odd, right? I don't think
just slap a couple stickers on the cans.
Stickers. But I saw that. But if it's the toy fair too, then that might be.
They're doing both at the same time. They're promising over nearly 300 vendors.
Oh,
that's a lot. Same location.
Same location.
That's a lot.
In the same building and everything.
The toy fair is going to be in the smaller one behind.
Okay, so then you can come back and forth.
So it's just going to be side by side, Oddmall in the big building, Toy Fair in the smaller one.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because next door they had cows. They were showing cows.
Yeah, they were doing a cattle auction or something.
Put one in a headlock.
I don't know if Josh, I don't know if you know this or not, but there was every once in a while we would see people who didn't look like they're part of the Oddmall crowd just walking through looking at stuff like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah.
And there's this
honest to God cowboys. It's like, what happened here?
There was legitimately this, what was he, like maybe 12 or 13, the kid with the mullet? He's just like walking around with this like who farted look on his face, and it was great.
Oh yeah, that's the joy of Monroe. You've got people like me, or you've got people like them, and it's just we live in the same town, and it's just nothing overlaps between us, really.
You were in Monroe?
I live in Monroe.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Oddmall was literally 15-minute drive from my house.
Nice.
It was super nice.
Did you grow up? Is that where you're from? Do you grow up there?
I grew up in Kirkland.
Okay.
And then moved to Redmond. And then I moved to Woodinville, and now I'm up in...
Okay.
So you just kept moving further east.
Inched your way.
I kept moving further away from civilization.
Yeah.
Once Woodinville started becoming big and something, it's like, gotta get out of here.
Did you ever get into Duval?
I thought about doing Duval, but Duval was growing at the same size, at the same rate as Woodinville.
Really? Is it bigger now? Because the last time they had like a strip mall.
Sticks, dude.
I would say that Duval is about as big as Woodinville is.
Oh wow.
I mean, Woodinville sprawls more, but it's the same kind of population, the same kind of people.
Yeah.
So, Redmond High, or would you say Kirkland High School?
Yeah, Kirkland High School.
Okay. All right.
So like Juanita?
No, the Lake Washington.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I lived in Juanita for about 2 or 3 years, and that's a cool area. I liked living in that part of Kirkland.
It's a pretty area.
Yeah, I when I moved back to that area, I drove a '97 Civic that looked like it was 30 years old, and I was working for a company that did support for Google, so I had a nice decent job, and I drove a piece of shit car, and driving through northern Kirkland while driving a piece of shit car gets the attention of every cop.
Oh yeah,
in Kirkland.
Especially Todd driving it.
Well, as
I got
someone
pulled over 3 times in 1 week on the same street.
driving a piece of shit car and being half Hispanic in Kirkland. Oh yeah,
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I like legitimately was like annoyed as shit. My what's the word I'm looking for? White privilege was showing heavily, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you pulling me over again?" It's like, "You've been pulled over like twice already this week. I'm getting the lights fixed. I don't get paid till next week. Can you fucking leave me alone?" And he's like, "Do you have, what?" He was asking why I was so angry. He's like, "Dude, I've been pulled over in the same stretch of road 3 times this week. I'm gonna be pissed. Leave me the fuck alone.
Well,
Don't
the nice
pull me
thing
over again."
is that none of us can probably afford to live there anymore.
Yeah, well,
No.
Worried, God.
You can have it.
once that job was gone, I no longer lived in Kirkland.
We're going to come up and use your parks, though.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nice parks.
Yeah. No, the only thing that was nice about living out there was that it was relatively close to Redmond, and the Flying Pie Pizzeria was one of my favorite places to get pizza.
Yeah.
It's like an old 50s style like pizza joint with old school sci-fi posters all over the wall, and they have like old black and white sci-fi movies playing on the TVs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
Nice. All right. Well, yeah, I'll definitely look into the November thing. It might be kind of cool because it's right next to Christmas, which is always a helpful thing to sell.
Kind of what I was like. If I did as well as I did in the middle of, at the end of April, I
expect to do better.
Closer to Christmas, I'm really hoping that this is just going to be like a barn burner thing for me.
Yeah. And I think Captain Slinky did a pretty good job with.
He did a great job
with everything. Yeah. The only thing I was disappointed in was there was no. I mean, they had the water fountains. There was no like soda machines in the building that I could see.
They had the food trucks, but the food
just on Saturday.
The food trucks were great, but they were expensive.
Well, that's
food trucks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. It was like $4 for a glass bottle of Coke.
Yeah.
The same glass bottle of Coke you can buy for $1 at Safeway.
Yeah.
So, but they had. I didn't have any of the Mexican food, but it smelled really good. So.
And this was the fairgrounds?
At the Monroe Fairgrounds.
And load-in was easy, load-out was
Load-in was
easy.
super easy, yeah.
They had, I don't know if it was practice or something, they had the race cars going on the track, which is like...
Oh, they always have the race cars
80
going.
yards away from where we
no, the race cars are always going. I can hear them from anywhere in Monroe. You can hear the race cars.
See, that's cool. Yeah. Is that like an oval track, or what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the wife works at PACCAR, and they were going to do, because they're doing their big, PACCAR Parts is doing their big 50th anniversary thing, and they were going to have people bust up to that track so that they could actually drive some of the Kenworth and Peterbilts around the track. So she got to go up there, and for some reason she took her Jeep on the track, and she actually drove around the track. She's like, I got to race on the track. I'm like,
that's awesome. There's a place, I think it's either in Snoqualmie or North Bend, I can't remember which, but there's a place up there where they teach people how to drift.
Yeah.
And they have little drift cars. Like the ones you see in like the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And they teach you how to drift.
Don't grow on trees, people.
Yeah. Well, no, Mike, it's a dirt track.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a dirt track. It's It's a bit easier, I think, to drift on dirt than it is to blacktop.
Probably.
I've never done it intentionally. That's all
I know.
I did just
The only time I've done any drifting is when there's been ice on the road.
Oh, it's awful.
And I wasn't meaning to drift. It happened, and I was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, Mike drives like an 80-year-old woman.
I really do. Oh, yeah, no, I drive slow. But man is also a death trap.
Yeah.
So it's less easy to die at 40 than 80.
I'm not picking on it. I'm just
Yeah,
And I'm not in a hurry. I've been in a hurry since 1986.
I still think Mike needs to put like big magnetic signs on his free candy or on his van.
the van.
On the van.
Yeah, he won't attract any attention that way.
I was going to put any Naruto fans here? Anybody?
Naruto? No.
Forget it.
Yeah, all right.
Pearls before.
Are you a Naruto fan?
Oh yeah, man.
He's a big anime guy.
I bought since Jupiter was a lad.
Yeah.
We read Shonen Jump together.
Oh,
so
cool.
Shonen Jump is a collection of a bunch of contemporary Japanese stuff.
The actor who plays Naruto, I think, is showing up at SummerCon this year.
SummerCon has an insane lineup. It is unreal.
It is bonkers.
I that's another thing I did when I got my paycheck is I got myself some SummerCon tickets. So
what was that looking like?
$85 for the whole weekend.
That's not nearly.
That's
not bad.
That's just entry. That's not including signings and autographs and all that other stuff.
For the whole weekend, that's not terrible.
And I don't know if I'm going to go all 3 days, but I wanted to get the weekend pass because I don't know what day I'm going to go, and I may not know until the day of.
Yeah. So. Anybody going to Crypticon? I really want to.
I wasn't planning on it, but I'd be down to go.
Yeah.
I've been before, but
I volunteered before.
John Cassier's going, the Crypt Keeper, so right. I'd be interested in saying hi to him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really considering going. So
I would.
The fashion is unreal,
I would love. At the DoubleTree, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we were told that because it's at the DoubleTree has a whole party wing of the hotel. So if you stay after hours, you can get shitty drunk.
Oh, nice.
It's party with vampires, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I asked them, is it the same crowd that goes to like NorwestCon and Rusty? And is it like Biohazard and the Cult of Scott Bakula? I was like, yeah, they'll be there. I was like, fucking sweet. I know those. I know some of those guys. Yeah, seriously. About 10 years ago, I used to go to like NorwestCon all the time. Every year, I'd go to it. And there's room party groups, and Biohazard is one of the big ones. They've been around for fucking ever. And then at that point, when I started going, the Cult of Scott Bakula was a brand new group, and they had room parties, which was music and booze and all that kind of stuff.
Not actually people who like.
No.
I'm sure they're fond of Scott Bakula.
No, that's why
Lansbury as Scott Bakula as a vampire in the Cult of Scott Bakula.
That's why it's called the Cult. They're a bunch of fans of Scott Bakula. His stuff. Because at that point, Enterprise was still on TV.
I know. I hate to be a hater, but that's my least favorite Star Trek.
Except for as someone who likes Star Trek, it's also my least favorite.
Except for Jolene Blaylock.
I'm
with these guys. I'm with these guys on that is not as much as I like Scott Bakula as an actor. That was not his best show.
No,
and
it wasn't the Trek families.
You know what? The other thing
happens. Everybody
is Picard retconned some things about that show.
Oh.
So if you haven't watched season 2 of Picard, I recommend watching it.
I think I'm going to drop HBO Max and get Paramount. And then
just get Paramount for a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't get rid of HBO Max just because you want to watch Star Trek.
Yeah, but
if you've worn out everything,
if you've already watched everything and there's nothing new coming out, go ahead and
cancel for a little while.
Before you get rid of HBO, if you haven't watched His Dark Materials, get on that.
Jeez, okay, no, I have not.
His Dark Materials.
Is that the name of the show?
Yeah.
Yes, it's based on a book series by the same title. It is phenomenal.
I've been watching Titans on there, and what else is on there? Oh yeah, South Park. All the new episodes of South Park are showing up on HBO Max. So, that's the main reason why I've kept it. That, and I'm hoping that we're gonna we're gonna get like simultaneous release on HBO Max as well as in theaters for some of the new movies coming out.
Well, speaking of new movies, Todd, without giving us any spoilers, Todd went and did a preview.
I went to the press screening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with my friend Silas Lindenstein. Thank you, Silas, so much for allowing me to go with you and step on people's toes when I had to go pee halfway through the movie. But it was without giving away anything. It was fantastic. But all I will say is bring tissue, because you will cry unless you're a heartless bastard. Damn, that's really. That buzzing is bothering me. But yeah, I can't really like. There are actors you don't expect to see in this movie.
Okay.
I'm not going to say names.
MCU universe people.
No. I mean, like, okay, I'll tell you one. Because he's friends with James Gunn, Nathan Fillion apparently makes appearances in his movies. So
detachable arm boy.
No, he plays a different character in this one. Yeah, but yeah, he was detachable arm man or whatever his name was in Suicide Squad. But he's wearing this costume that looks like he's wearing like a. He looked like he was a pig man, because the suit he was wearing was all like puffy and like skin toned.
He really is.
And I think it's like James is just like, you know what, we'll put him in this suit and make him look stupid, and he'll only have like 6 lines, but he'll.
Yeah, it's like I think they did that with him in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, in the prison.
Was he in the first one too? I don't remember him in the first one.
He was the voice and the body model for the big guy that Groot beats the shit out of. Sticks the roots up his nose. Yeah. He was the body double and the voice of that dude.
Okay, nice. Now I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch.
I have to rewatch it now.
Yeah. It's like if you didn't know it was Nathan Fillion, you would never pick up. Yeah. But it's
and the other thing is like Stallone is in it again. I mean, he was in the last one for one scene, but he's in it a little bit more in this one. And of course he was the voice of King Shark in the Suicide Squad. Num nums, yeah. Oh man, it's every time I see him in a movie, I think about the time that he walked past me when he was filming a movie in Seattle. I got invited to come down and watch them film. A buddy of mine was an extra, and he got the okay to have me hang out and watch. I got there, security guard was like, "Don't talk to Sly. Don't even look at him, because if he thinks you don't belong here, he will boot you out himself."
Was that the horrible Get Carter remake?
No, it was the movie Assassins with Antonio Banderas. It was filmed here in Seattle. Yeah. But he walked past me, and I was like,
Was that Frank?
That can't be Sylvester Stallone, because in the movies he looks like he's like 5'9", 5'10". He is legitimately 5'4". He is tiny. He is the tiniest.
Well,
he's almost
nutrition was different,
dude. No, seriously, he's almost as
boiled meat. Then
he's like
a lot of boiling of meats when he was young.
He was like Gimli. He's almost as wide as he is tall. And the thing that cracked me up the most about seeing him is I watched him talk to people, and when he was talking to women, he was very articulated, and you could understand every word, every syllable. But when he's talking to dudes, he sounded like Rocky. And I'm like, what the hell, man?
Hervé Villachez as Sylvester Stallone in Rambo Fantasy Island.
Dude, I would definitely pay to see him play Tattoo. That would be fucking great. And is only if Stallone and Schwarzenegger played Rourke, it would be great.
Nice.
With that thick accent. All
right, so 5 stars, 2 thumbs up.
I would say 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, 10 and a half out of 10. It was great. I enjoyed it. There is a mid-credit scene, and then there is a post-credit scene. So you'll want to wait the 10 to 15 minutes that there is of credits.
Is this supposedly the last Guardians movie?
At the very end, it said Star-Lord will be back.
Star-Lord, but not.
It didn't specify anybody else.
Okay.
And you saw it in IMAX.
I saw it at the IMAX theater in Seattle.
To go.
And if you can throw down the money to see it at a true IMAX theater, I recommend it.
That's $20. What is that? 25.
I don't even. I think it's like $20. Yeah. It's worth it though.
Yeah, crazy awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I even remember any sequences other than like the way Nathan Fillion was looking in that costume. That's fucking ridiculous.
Just because he's so dreamy.
He's a cool actor. I enjoy the shit of what he does.
Oh yeah.
With the exception of Firefly, I can't get into that show.
I listen to a podcast called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, and it's all these different bits that they do, just like these ongoing comedy skits, and they're funny. But he pops up in some of them, and he's a good sport because it's dumb, and he's not afraid to be dumb.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's Canadian, and Canadians have an amazing sense of humor, and they always do really funny shit on camera. I am a huge fan of his show, The Rookie. I love that show.
Oh, yeah,
Did you watch Slither yet?
Not yet. I'm going to though.
Brilliant too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the main guy.
I have it on my computer now, and so at some point, maybe this weekend, I'll set aside some time to watch it.
Yeah, there's a show on Netflix called Big Mouth. Anybody seen Big Mouth?
Love that show.
One of the characters is just in love, and these are all based on sort of kids going through puberty. But she has a big time crush on Nathan Fillion, so he makes some kind of dreamy
Sally, right? Is it Sally?
I don't remember the gal's name, but yeah, he makes some dreamy appearances.
Yeah.
Show, and I don't know if it's his voice. It
is him.
Is it him?
It is him.
Yeah.
That show is great. If you've never watched Big Mouth, it is
funny.
It is
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, and it's like
bonkers.
think of how depraved your brain was at 14, 15.
I try not
balanced.
to.
And then put that into an animated show with Nick
Did
Kroll.
you say fair and balanced? Is that what you said?
There's nothing fair or balanced about that show, man. That show is
He said feral balanced.
Feral balance.
Feral.
That makes
yeah,
so much
Will
more sense.
Ferrell balanced. Yeah,
Makes so much more sense.
that kind of feral. But yeah, no, it's a funny show. It legitimately is like these kids going through puberty, and like their puberty is manifested in these puberty monsters.
Yeah.
And
And they're all assigned one. It's a funny show. It's about 3 seasons, and then they did a show called Human Resources,
which is a spin-off.
Which is a spin-off of the of their puberty monsters doing their thing. But it's
like you're seeing the behind the scenes of when they're not with the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Monsters Incorporated, but not
dirty.
Gotcha.
But it's way like it's like the difference between Apples to Apples and Cards Against Humanity.
Gotcha.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to talk some headlines and what's happening in the world?
You got time to stick around, John?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
All right, man. All kinds of stuff happened in the world today. The rape trial of a former famous reality TV star is continuing.
The tangerine that was in charge?
I find it fascinating because he's going to lose this. It's not a criminal trial, but it is a civil trial. And this gal is accusing him of raping her in a dressing room back in the 90s. And because she made this accusation in a memoir that she wrote, and she's a writer, she was like an advice columnist for Elle magazine or something. But because she wrote this book about it right before he became president, he turned around and made some disparaging remarks about her, and that's the whole reason she was able to sue, and this has gone to trial.
Because it's in his book, and it's in print and all that.
Slander?
Yeah, so she accused him of libel for, calling her crazy and a bunch of other stuff. But just reading up on the trial, the defense isn't going to present any witnesses. He's not even at the trial. But I think that's the reason he's going to actually lose this. Now, whether, it's probably going to go to appeals and all that stuff. So whether she ever sees any kind of recompense for the stuff is probably unlikely at this point. But he will be found, I guess you don't say convicted in a civil suit, right? But found liable for it.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to me, the whole court case, and just hearing about the testimony, and his sort of attorneys are sort of kind of like big machismo dudes that you're hearing about the cross examinations, and it's like, wow, this guy's like off his nut, right? This attorney that you're supposed to sort of go in with a rape victim, a suspected rape, an alleged rape victim, and you're supposed to sort of kid glove, right? And this guy's kind of coming in a little bit harder than you would.
He needs to make people believe that she's just lying. Right?
Yeah,
that's his job.
That's what you have to do.
That is his job.
Because it really is a he said, she said, right? Because, I mean,
well, that kind of how that
30 years later, how do you
But who's shown to, has she been famously fibbing for the last 35 years? Right?
In fact, she was able to bring out testimony from other women that said this sort of thing happened to them at different points, late 70s.
With the same defendant.
With the same defendant, yeah. And then they also have the tape, right? The Hollywood Access tape where he sort of admits it.
Yeah.
But then you've got the same thing. It's like, from what I can understand, the trial isn't about whether or not the rape happened.
Exactly.
The trial is about the libel.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
And so whether or not she's lying about that, it's the libel that is the focus.
Yeah.
So I don't. That in itself makes it sound like it actually happened. So
right, that's the thing. It's like, so it's
he's not. Yeah.
How do you? So can you prove liable if you can't prove that happened? Right. I don't know. So I mean, does the rape have to have happened for her to prove libelous?
What's the burden of proof on
I don't know. But I can tell you that I think New York juries are probably pretty anti-Trump, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I think most of New York New York State, New York City.
It's a very mixed jury too. It really is a jury of your peers. So I think it's almost half and half men, women. I'm not sure, and there are some folks of color on the jury and stuff like that. So it's not a bunch of white males, that are up there judging this. But he's not mounting any kind of defense other than sort of these hard press.
He's got plenty of money, and then he gets some people who send donations, right?
Yeah, well,
not only for lawyer fees, etc. But he's a master at just getting people to send him money.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, not to be too weird, but women carry weapons. Ladies, carry some fucking weapons. Right?
See, that's why my wife keeps me around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust my fellow humans, right? I mean, present company excluded, of course.
Well, I would hope so, man.
I don't leave my house without weapons, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's far more violence against women than against me.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how it is.
So the trial's supposed to wrap up probably early next week. I'm predicting right now that guilty or, they won't fine for Trump. They'll fine for her. It will definitely probably go to appeals. He's already complaining about the judge and all that, trying to poo-poo the whole process. But like he said, it's going to be a money grab, right? It's going to be, look at what they're doing to me.
He spends everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I clogged my toilet. Can you send me money to get the router? You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, be responsible for your own shit, bro. I thought you were. It's just annoying to me, but it works. Which is the annoying part isn't somebody trying to steal your money, right? Because that's as old as money, right? Yeah. It's the fact that we just fall for it. Go, okay.
Well, speaking of that, there was so they are looking into now because they made the election claims last year, right? That he campaigned off of a lot of that, we really won stuff, the Giuliani stuff. They're actually looking at the possibility that he committed wire fraud because he collected money. He advertised
based on something that wasn't true.
Fundraising based on something that wasn't true. Yeah. So, there's another angle. Sure. I don't know.
And accountability is important, right?
Yeah.
Poor people get arrested and locked away, right? It's like we have to
say that if it was any one of us, we would have already been in jail.
Yeah. And it's just if we're going to have rule of law, right, which is the whole point. right, of the whole thing.
I mean, it'd be nice to have that.
Yeah, then it has to be applied.
It does, yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it was applied.
You know what I
to
mean?
everybody
Which
in
is,
an equal way.
You know, the older I get, the more of a one-issue voter I am, and that issue is the regulatory systems, right? The watchdog systems and all that kind of thing. It's like if somebody is a proponent of those, they can get my vote and support. But if they're not actively working to add sunshine to government, then they're working against us, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not into it.
Yeah. I mean, the accountability thing too. I just heard this afternoon that how Justice Thomas was taking money from that mega donor.
Oh yeah, Harlan Crow, which is a cool name for a supervillain.
It is.
It is one of the
Which
best
we will
names
be
for a
getting to.
supervillain.
We'll be getting to in just a little while.
Fictional.
This was hilarious. So I'm listening to the news, and it turns out that Harlan also paid for the Thomas's Clarence's grandnephew, his college education, his full ride to college, right, private school, and the kid was actually living with Clarence Thomas at the time.
Action or something?
But Harlan came out and actually said that people are disparaging me for giving money to a disadvantaged youth to pay for them to go to college. And I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. You know, I don't know exactly how much money a Supreme Court justice makes, or Ginny's
more than
not
me.
poor
More
either.
than any of us, yeah.
But that's not the point of being a Supreme Court justice. The whole point is that your name and decisions and all these things, they live on forever.
Right.
Right? That's the perk.
Well, 20
it's not
years
about being a CEO, right?
40 years.
Yeah, well, it's all written in our history,
Yeah.
right? It's like, and the precedent for these decisions goes on, right? And is always written about, right? So you have that type of impact on our nation, right? That's the perk.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. You're not a CEO. You're not a supermodel.
Right.
It's like you're not a rock star. It's like, I don't get
But
it.
I identify as all of those. So.
Well, sure. But I'm also not making decisions that affect policy.
Exactly, yeah.
See, it's a good thing you have that recording, because I just set this up today and I just realized I had the volume down on this, so it wasn't recording any sound, but it was recording video. But this is now recording audio and video.
Well, hopefully whoever's watching that can read lips.
So
we should hire that. Remember the fake UN translator who was faking it the whole time?
the sign language person that was just complete bullshit.
Wait, who did this?
This was what was that? It was.
I can't remember if it was
it an Olympic thing?
Something. It was great.
Yeah, somebody was making a speech and they'd hired it, and I don't know if it was ALS because it might have been a foreign country.
It might have been. So.
But they hired a sign language translator who came out and was just making gestures that had no meaning whatsoever.
Yeah.
And people are like, what? What?
I mean,
Someone's giving a speech.
If it was
just doing the Macarena or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
but you do know that there's other versions of sign language. It's not just ALS.
That's what I said. Yeah, I don't know if it was.
Because maybe it was the sign language of that country.
No. It was complete bullcrap.
Oh, it was
made
actually
up.
just-
Yes.
They had sign language experts come out and said this is not anywhere recognized anywhere in the world, kind of a thing.
But that's the thing. In fraud, I don't blame people for trying. Well, I do. Don't fraud.
Don't
because
fake
it's lying.
You know-
and human relationships are too tenuous for lies.
Well, and there was a reason for them to be there.
Up.
They were there to assist folks to get the information that was
And
being
the
presented.
deaf people are like, what the fuck is that guy saying? He's talking gibberish. What is
Klingon or
My
something.
mother? What?
It's like, well, I once had a roommate that's like, you should just apply where I work. It's like, dude, I wouldn't be able to get a job where you work. It's like, fake it. I was like, dude, they would find out I couldn't do that job, and then I'd be fired.
Brain surgery.
There is an element of fake it till you make it, but not as a sign language interpreter or brain scientist.
Here's my my diploma from medical school.
But yeah, you can fake it till you make it in a lot of places. But
we see it a lot.
Wait a minute, isn't there like a politician that's like been known for just like
That was Santos guy,
He's
yeah,
still
yeah.
getting paid, though.
Yeah,
He's still getting
he's
paid.
still
got
there.
Healthcare, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's a really good job.
You'd think that after it's been proven that he's full of shit and he didn't have any of those credentials,
Can't. The votes are too close, man. They can't get rid of the guy because then it would have been. I don't know who does the.
You can do a recall or whatever, but it takes motivation.
Yeah.
you would think they would kick his ass to the curb and just pick the next person down the line who
So
didn't win.
Because it is a good job, and it's our money.
Exactly.
But it's a good job. There is honor in such things. There really is. I don't get
A
it.
free health club and
You do all sorts of perks, dude.
Yeah.
All sorts of perks.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had health insurance my entire adult life. And I've worked nonstop. It's so annoying.
There you
I
go.
should just get elected to something.
There you go.
Dog catcher.
You know what? You
Just set them all free.
You should
Dog freer, man.
Mike, I think you should try out to be our next mayor. Be mayor, Mike.
No, I live in Seattle. But I do have a plan for that, actually, that we'll discuss. It's
Just a little annexation.
I've got it. Well, no, I've got a plan. Never think I don't have
Yeah,
one.
Mike's always
You can be
scheming.
You can be the mayor of Seattle like that woman is the queen of Canada.
Oh, yeah, no, because my people haven't been here that long. My people just got here. Even back in the 30s.
Relatively.
Or not even the 30s, yeah. Well,
I mean that's new enough,
yeah.
Yeah.
or old enough rather.
Well, Mike and I were talking earlier this week about child labor.
Oh, yeah. That goddamn
Just
time.
crazy to me.
Put those kids to work, man. No
Just
breaks.
crazy to me because my daughter will be 13 in August. And there's been several like meat packing plants across the country that have been busted about using kids that are too young to be working around really sharp instruments and machinery and using chemicals and food.
Yeah, let alone food, man. It's like kids.
Raw food.
Yeah,
Raw food.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is over there, you know.
It's one thing if it's an ear of corn, but
Yeah, exactly.
I legit think that the problem I have with my sinuses not working has something to do with all the chemicals I was exposed to, like when I was doing cleaning when I was working in various jobs as a teenager, because I was exposed to all kinds of just shit that like
Oh, we all were. That
burnt my nostrils. You know, it was so fucking strong.
Yeah, a lot of things you don't put together.
Man, I have.
was it
Well, you do, but just once.
was it Iowa that just passed the laws that we were talking about?
Yeah, it was
or
Iowa.
something?
Yeah.
And this wasn't talking about farmer, because there's been
No, this is like
cutouts
factory jobs and shit. I think.
Yeah.
Because we're not. Our immigration system sucks.
It really does.
Right?
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
sucks. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And our legislative branch
Yeah.
is shitty.
Yeah. Setting up a guest worker program where you can
et cetera,
pay people an honest wage and have them
et
come in
cetera.
legally
Because
and do what
literally,
they...
in the direction that our economy has gone and such that there's not enough humans to fill, Americans anyway, to fill the jobs.
Yeah.
There's more jobs than...
And people aren't willing to work for minimum wage anymore.
And we're not willing to cut the retirement age down to say 55. Right? We're like, no, how about 75? It's
It went up to 75 from 65. What, like 4 years ago?
Man, the French would
it's
have
still
burned
65.
the entire country down.
It's 70, I think. 70 or 75 right now.
No,
It just
I
doesn't
think
make any
Social
sense.
Security you can still get at 63, and then if you wait till you're 65, it's better. But I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, I know people that worked until they were well
my
into
choice
their
is different
70s.
than my mandate,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Right. If you want to, that's great, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. But that's how you get a few million people out of the fucking workforce.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so I could be that Walmart greeter.
Yeah, I remember when they did the.
I'd be the Walmart beater.
yeah.
I think it was under W. They did that plan where they were giving out. They were giving out money, right, to certain people, the stimulus money. But somebody had an idea. It's like, okay, take everybody that is like 55 or older, right, and give them X amount of money. Give them like $100,000, but they have to use the money to pay off their mortgage. They have to buy a new American car, right, and they have to retire.
Sure.
So, and then that would totally free up, that top half. Tons of people will get to go to work.
Or Logan Trump.
Or
Everyone over 55.
I think maybe not 55, but maybe 60 or something like that.
That's fine. So it's like all of the Congress and seats open up.
There you go. That would be great.
Presidency opens up.
That'd be great. But the amount of money that they were talking about was in the maybe even, I don't think it was a trillion, but it was heavy billions, right? But if you just took that and did that for the population and just bam, right, and go off, live your happy life, retirement life, more healthy, all that stuff. Everybody else coming up, but I guess you can't do that for a smaller segment of the population.
You can if that's the direction of your economy, right? Economies can do whatever we direct them to do.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. No, I had a whole campaign thing of 2020 and then for life. The first 20 years of the American citizen is like education, healthcare, all that shit is paid for by all of us. The next 20, you work, you give back, whatever form that takes, right? So that could be working at a factory, cutting trails through the forest, whatever the fuck it might be. And then the rest of it, so at 40, you're done. Boop. And so you can either be a mentor, you could be but you no more have to work. Right? It's just like, because you just switch the direction. Right now, the direction of our economy, and not ours alone, is just to enrich shareholders.
Yeah.
Every fucking thing is directed that way.
Yep.
Right? That's just how that is.
Yeah.
Because the military-industrial complex fits under that. The, you know what I mean? The petro-billionaire cartels, they fit under that, et cetera, et cetera. All of that is just to funnel the direction of our economy is to funnel everything to shareholders, right? That's just fucking dumb.
Yeah. How do you get that job? I want to be a shareholder.
Right? You're typically born into it. Statistically, you're born
Statistically,
into it.
yeah.
It's all your zip code, bro.
Yeah. But I just found it fascinating. Iowa passed a law that said, what was it? 14-year-olds can work on an assembly line, 14, 15. 16 and 17-year-olds can now serve alcohol.
Yeah. And they had 6 hours of nighttime work. Right?
Yeah. And then even younger than 13 could go out and get a job.
Yeah. There were kids at McDonald's that were 10.
Well, that was not right.
That's not policy.
They got fined for it. Yeah, I saw that article too. But it's like, holy crap, man! They're working the deep fat fryer at 10 years old, man. I wouldn't trust my daughter making scrambled eggs on the stove at home.
But I think we trick ourselves into thinking that we have a laissez-faire economy when we don't.
Yeah.
Right? It's very much directed. It's just not directed by us or for us.
Yeah.
Boo boo.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you guys hear about the hit on Putin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the probably false flag hit on Putin is what they're saying.
Could be. I don't know.
Well,
They decided to kill me.
A lot of irregularities with it. I mean, there was a couple guys on the roof that they can see in the video. What were they doing there? It was almost like perfectly positioned where there was a camera sort of watching the drones come in. Was it? Yeah, how convenient. Yeah. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. We did an episode on that already, but I tend to believe Putin wasn't in there. I don't think it did any damage to the location, to the building. It's like one of the most heavily protected, structures on Earth, right?
I would think so. But I think they have been lying to each other for 7 decades about how good their shit is.
That's probably true.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I would almost say if it's not a false flag, I've heard a lot of things about just the internal government not being terribly happy with.
Yeah, it could be.
So it could be like a coup attempt. If it's anything. If it's not a false flag, I would vote coup.
Yeah, just by some super redneck general or some kind of thing. Yeah. They've got some super rabid ding dongers. Although we do too, man. Right?
Big time. Yeah, the guy, the cats from January 6th, the Proud Boys, they just were found guilty today, right?
Were they? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
5 of the 6 charges, I think.
Well, that's good.
Facing up to 20 years in prison or something like that. It's
good for them.
Some other stuff. So it's like,
good for them.
It couldn't have come to a more deserving group of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see some of the upper echelon, Roger Stone, Amongst Town, etc.
You know
what I mean?
The list goes on, but take the little victories.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah.
We had a celebrity death again. Gordon Lightfoot passed away. He was a Canadian singer. First album, I think, in the mid-'60s, but he was kind of doing his thing in the late '50s.
Wow.
Didn't he have like a huge hit in the '70s though?
A number of them.
I think he had a number of them because he had like 20 albums, and he wrote a lot of songs, and a lot of artists recorded.
I know the name, but I don't know any of his songs. Like,
yeah, I kind of feel like it's a John Denver / Bob Dylan sound. It's kind of that
more egghead than John Denver.
Yes,
But
yes,
but still kind of that mountain folky.
but that folky, feel good kind of.
Yeah.
It's got a great voice if you hear it. But
It's great.
yeah, a lot of songs about trains and stuff like that.
Boats going down.
Boats going down. Yeah. But he's often cited as one of the biggest influences, and he's Canadian, so he's like a Canadian treasure.
Yeah.
take off, eh?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good Canadian songwriters.
Yeah. And then Mike is pretty sad because both of his late night news hosts have been fired. Don Lemon at CNN and Tucker Carlson at Fox are both out. Yeah, I never watched Tucker.
I always see clips of Tucker when people are
I think he's a bad American, right? But we need to get away from, and we're not going to. So pardon my naivety, but the
Infowars. I think that's where he's going to go.
Infotainment dog shit, man. He's like, opinions are great, right? Everybody can have opinions, but we have to differentiate between opinion and fucking fact.
I just want the Walter Cronkite.
I believe that he's going to end up on whatever that network that Ben
the more
Shapiro,
psycho one. Yeah.
the Newsmax.
No, not Newsmax. It's
One America.
Breitbart.
Oh God, I don't even know.
The list goes on.
It's the one that has Ben Shapiro as like one of the main people.
Jesus,
all I know is that I don't think that Newsmax or even OAN are going to want him because he like.
I bet he's expensive.
He cost Fox News. What was it like? Hundreds of millions of dollars. It wasn't just
Well, they got hit for
that was
the full deal, but I don't know. And I bet he's expensive. And really, I mean, he gets way more because I mean, there's podcasts that have way more viewership than that guy does, right?
I mean, YouTube even has rules about like misinformation, so he's not going to be able to have a YouTube channel. If he does, it's not going to last very long.
I don't know, man.
So.
Yeah, just and then Don Lemon, I never really got into his stuff or watched him.
Honestly, didn't know who the fuck he was until I saw the thing about both of those guys getting fired. It's like, who's Don Lemon? Is he also in news?
Yeah, he was a overnight guy at CNN. So
I guess he pissed off the wrong
kind of like the Chris Cuomo, Anderson Cooper kind of feel. I think CNN is trying to go more moderate, maybe whatever that means. But
they kind of started the whole thing with the 24-hour.
The 24, and you got to fill that news cycle.
And the Chiron just flashing nonsense.
And that's the thing. The 24-hour news cycle is what we got to get away from that. It's not good for anyone.
Yeah.
No matter what flavor politics you follow,
because it's by nature incomplete.
Well, if you want to fill these, news segments, if you want 24-hour news, give me more Bigfoots and UFOs. It's like give me more wackadoo shit.
I want to see more
from there.
I want to see more of Giorgio Tsoukalos, okay?
What's that?
Crazy hair dude.
Yeah, the aliens.
The ancient alien guy.
I'm not saying it's alien. Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Oh, all right, geez,
I've seen the name, but I've never been able to pronounce it. So I'm glad you did.
I couldn't pronounce it by reading it, but I've heard his name said enough times watching his show.
And his name fits him. That's wonderful.
He's Greek, so that's why his name is spelled that way. And it's said a different way.
Yeah.
The only thing would have made his name even weirder is if he was Irish or Gaelic. Then it's a bunch of symbols, or not symbols, but a bunch of syllables that don't really match up to the sounds that come out of the people's mouths.
Yeah. Gaelic's famous for that. It's great.
It's like
wait, how did you get that from that?
It's like Siobhan. If you look at the word Siobhan, it doesn't look like it says Siobhan. It says Siobhan.
Right.
What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah. Right.
My people are fucking weird. That's all there's to it. I think it has a lot to do with all the alcohol that they consume.
Well, they weren't
that
right.
Being said, you can also look at the English language and have the same.
Yeah, but
everybody else on it, it's like English is weird, man.
But there's sounds that come out and the letters don't coincide with the sounds. how many English words have that? Not many.
I mean, enough. I mean, my grandmother always pronounced it knife just to spite
I still do. Call kids knife.
I'm taking Spanish and I'm just like, okay, I understand the structure of the sentence and I understand the breakdown of the verbs and stuff, but then you get to English and you're like, yeah, why does English make it so friggin' complicated?
You're taking Spanish just for fun? Or?
Last week we had Emilio from Renton City Retro on the show, and I don't know how the conversation got around to the Smurfs, but I was like, there is a
Because why wouldn't it?
because right.
Josh is like, ooh, look at that.
But the thing is like, I said, as a matter of fact, I just saw that there's a live TV network on Plex.tv that has the Smurfs all in Spanish. Every episode is in Spanish. And I was like,
cool.
I was like, man, I wish I knew Spanish because then I would totally be watching this shit. This is great.
Probably a great way to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thought about trying to find Sesame Street in Spanish
That's
so
a
I
great
could pick
idea.
up on it a little bit better. But
the Spanish that I do know, I learned from Sesame Street.
that's true.
And I'm old enough to remember when they had French.
Yeah.
Some kind of French-Canadian combo.
yeah.
Sesame Street.
Oh,
Man.
Those were the days.
it's like an HBO now
What's
or
the only
something.
time
It's owned by HBO now. So when you have HBO Max, there's a whole section that's Sesame Street.
Oh, geez, I should. Okay, I'll keep it, Todd. You talked me into it.
There you go. You can sit down and watch Sesame Street now.
Yeah.
You can watch all 50 seasons of it because it started in 1969, so it's been around a long time.
Man. Oh,
Yeah, longer than any of
my neck.
us.
Yeah.
Right, did you guys any other news that you guys came across that you want to share? Any fun stuff?
Jamal
happening
had
out
a
in the world?
story yesterday when we were recording our day before yesterday of a guy who broke his neck trying to do a difficult sex position. And I was like, Jamal, I'm pretty sure this is going to be on Snopes because it was like the New York Post. It was like, is it New
You
York?
can actually.
Wow, that was graphic, but not graphic.
I mean, there's.
So essentially, what happened to this guy is
It's not supposed to bend.
the glands.
If suddenly you have Gonzo nose, something's gone wrong.
That's exactly what happened. The guy, he was bending it in a position that the glands made like a snapping sound.
You're
Do you
painting
know
a picture.
what position
He just renamed it. Whatever it was called previously is now going to be called this guy.
Well, the article said it was
picture of him in the dictionary?
the article said it was the reverse cowboy
Oh.
Cowboy?
or reverse cowgirl. One of the two.
I want to follow up on the reverse cowboy. I'm curious what this could be.
I think now that you're making me double think it. I think it is reverse cowgirl. So, but yeah, basically she's sitting.
Reverse.
Okay, I can see how that.
looking away from you, so you're basically looking at her back.
Yeah.
And
she got a little too excited or something.
or something happened,
Yeah.
or he just went,
Oh, man.
Noodle.
Yeah.
we've not used that once,
And
in
that's
this
why we
podcast.
have safe words, ladies and gentlemen.
So, news, sex. Have you heard about Pornhub in Utah?
No.
What?
So, Utah passed a law that it is on the porn provider to affirm that whoever is watching their content is over 18.
Whoa. Okay.
So Utah has said any porn site has to be able to prove that whoever's watching is of age.
So do they have to put in like a credit card number or something? Or
I
you're not
assume
sure how they're going to do it?
It's got to be credit card or it's got to be driver's
You got to
license.
scan your driver's license in to watch
That's the thing. It's like, who wants to give that information to a porn site?
Yeah.
So Pornhub has just blacked out Utah.
Oh.
You cannot watch PornTube in Utah anymore.
Wow.
Have any of you guys heard of like Mormon porn? It's a thing where these guys had created a filter. I think that's what it's called, a layer, so to speak, where you take a picture of a woman wearing like a bathing suit or something that shows any amount of skin more than just like your arm, and what the layer does is it covers up all the bits of skin of clothing, so all you see is the skin, and there's circles, big circles, little circles, medium-sized circles, all but so that the only thing that shows is skin. So your imagination says she's naked, even though she's technically not.
Stunt cock.
Well,
Right?
And it just also shows like humans will find loopholes.
You
got a lot of power
to get
out of
their
1 inch, I
porn.
know that.
I don't know, man.
Anything
So
to get
if-
your porn.
but
If you're
That's
if you're
interesting.
looking to go to Utah, just
Yeah.
FYI
you
for the
bring
future.
your own.
Who's
Yeah.
wanting to look at porn while they're in Utah?
Probably everyone in Utah.
Yeah, I would say probably millions.
If I was driving through Utah, I don't know.
There's actually
Is Pornhub a private company?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, because
There's-
I would invest in that.
so in the early
They're making
2000s.
money, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
In the early 2000s, there was that cable channel is what is it? The one that has the Little People show. Fuck. Either way,
What are we talking like?
Hold on, we got.
Okay,
the cable network.
you were just talking about Smurfs.
Yeah.
So
no.
what little people are
No,
we
I'm
talking
talking
about
like
now?
dwarves.
Oh,
little
like,
people
so you'd like TLC?
TLC. That's
Okay.
that's the network I was talking about.
Oh, big little people, big world.
Right.
So that network had a show in the early 2000s about like guys who were or people that were virgins, and they were proud of being virgins. And somebody showed me a clip from this show where this guy who was like at the time was like 25, and his wingman was legitimately his mother.
Oh,
And
mom trying to get him laid.
well, and the other thing is like these people were like really Mormon, so he wasn't looking to get laid. He was looking to get married so he could get laid.
Oh, all right.
So and like.
Everybody's choice.
And
More
the thing
power
is,
to them.
the thing is like, okay, if that wasn't enough to scare you away as a woman, he would bring T-shirts that says, "I went on a date with Skippy," and all I got was a stupid T-shirt.
Want a
What-
date
what
with
is-
what?
His name was Skippy.
I want a date with.
I went on a date with Skippy, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt.
I would actually kind of dig that T-shirt.
actually,
I mean, I might have to get on eBay and see if I can find it.
There's only
You could
one.
probably-
It'll be right. It was in the bin right next to the Rick and Morty cars today.
I totally missed it.
Charles, just go on to YouTube and search for "My name is Skippy."
Did it
You'll
have like a
find
little
him.
picture of him or
It
anything?
had like a caricature of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it right.
Custom T-shirts.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
And, you
Lots
know,
of sites like that do that.
And so it's been nearly 20 years since that show's on, and he still goes on YouTube and does videos of him like meeting women and trying to find
Being a virgin still?
still a virgin, yeah. You know,
Godspeed, man.
he wants to get married before he has sex, and he really wants sex.
I mean,
I would imagine
there
you
is
would really want
somebody.
sex.
There is somebody for everybody, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
dude, if you were to watch any of those clips from that show, you'd realize this guy is never gonna find a woman because
How many
he's-
views does he get?
Yeah, maybe it's just.
I mean,
you
could
think
it be
maybe
just-
it's an act?
Because not everything on the internet
I don't
is actually.
seriously.
Whoa!
Wait, what?
Hold on.
What? Wait, what? What are you saying?
Hold on.
There's fiction.
Mike.
As if
Mike's so skeptical.
Hold on.
Mike.
Because I do. Yeah. And it's
I'm gonna
funny
pull it
because
up.
I really don't think that anything is other than it appears to be unless it's called to my attention.
Yeah.
Right? Because I love magic and the magicians and all that. And I'm not looking for how it's done. Right? I'm really not. But.
But at the same time, the magician,
Yeah.
you know what you're going in for.
Yeah.
It's like they're telling you at the gate,
Yeah.
I'm a magician.
Yes,
Did you see the old guy? Did the old guy come to your booth? It was an old guy and his wife, and the wife kept rolling her eyes at him, but he was doing magic tricks with his ring. Did you catch that guy at the Oddmall?
Yes, it was. I kind of have a creepy story about that.
No.
Because there was two young kids at my booth, doing, looking at all the nerd stuff, and, doing what
As
kids
kids do, yeah.
And as they turned to leave, he looped them into a magic trick, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't want to watch this, but I feel as a responsible human being, I need to keep my eyes on this situation, because there's this creepy old man doing magic tricks for 2 young boys.
Yeah, he came over and he was doing something with his wedding ring, and it was all like sleight of hands, and you could totally, because it's all about watch this hand, don't see what I'm doing.
It's like from the side of him, I could see everything. That
but as soon as he was done, he's like, I don't know what he said. It was like, keep it handy. And he goes like this, and there's this little hand, this little doll hand that popped up. I mean, I can't do it because my hand's too big, but it was like this little hand that popped up. And I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Can't go. Do this to clear out.
I want the little hand thing.
Stop, right?
But yes, I did see the magic trick. Yeah, but
his wife did not look like. His wife was like, I've seen this act for 40 years, and I'm done.
So here's Skippy.
Okay, kind of has a Michael Moore vibe to him.
His legal American name is Skippy.
No, his name is Scott, but he goes by Skippy.
Quick video for
I'm
me.
sorry.
This week, I have 3 topics. They are incels, haters, and hey Walmart.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna play the whole fucking thing.
Is he good TV?
Okay, incel.
He is painful to watch.
Okay, so how many?
You guys listed 3 things that were very similar to one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's basically, people are calling him an incel, and
he's not an angry virgin.
He's a very frustrated virgin. He's not the angry guy that.
How many views does he have there? And how many followers?
We're gonna get to the
bottom of this. Skippy, we're getting to the bottom.
So that video is a year old, and it's got 34.8K.
That's not too bad.
Or is that the video, or is that the number of followers? I think that's the number of followers.
Yeah, he's kicking our ass pretty good.
Well, he's
been around a lot longer. Yeah, we've only been doing this for like 5 months.
Yeah, he's been doing this for like 10 years. But this video's had 28K for views, and he's got 34K for followers.
Good on you, Skippy. That's worth a couple of ducats per view, I think.
Yeah,
on the tube.
And he does the few videos of his that I've seen. There's been a few where he's like, people are sending donations to him and stuff.
I got a buddy, I can't remember what band now. I think it was Rob Middleton from Paisley Sin, but he just had a discrepancy with YouTube because he's been in successful working bands, and like they forgot or erased a bunch of his views. A lot.
Took away his view?
They like stole money from it, basically.
Yeah.
So, but then a bunch of other people from other local bands are like, yep, me too. Me too.
Wow.
Me too. Yeah. So,
did they do some kind of algorithm where they decided that these views weren't anything?
They thought maybe they were...
All of our Russian bots that are watching us.
Purchased
we're
views.
Going to be purged.
Yeah.
We're going to get purged of our views.
Yeah, where do we get Russian bots? Is there something you can buy those on the black market?
There's probably a site that you can go to.
I think that's the problem with buying fake interactions and stuff, is at some point is the service is going to realize that those weren't real and we're going to take them away.
Yeah, but I don't think that in this particular case.
Yeah, he probably wasn't buying it.
It's a shadow band from the 90s, right? I don't think he's buying bots.
Yeah.
Pretty regular, dude. He's got a day job.
I got to get my rep up from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chief, can you tell us more about how to find you?
Yes.
Do you have a website, Facebook? Is it just Facebook?
Etsy.
I've got my Facebook, but I do have a website. It's just HaazLab.com, HaazLab.
Okay.
From there, it's got links to my Etsy, got links to my Facebook, and
Okay, we'll put it
oh yeah,
on the screen and stuff. Yeah. We appreciate you here. Ending on a positive note. Anybody got anything positive to add?
Geez, that sounds like
I've got something if nobody else does.
I'll say this: never piss an electric fence.
Yeah, it can get a little messy.
And it's painful.
Yeah. I found a quote today. I don't know if it's real, but it's attributed to somebody named Damien Barr. Does that ring a bell?
Okay.
But the quote was, "We are not all in the same boat. We are in the same storm. Some of us have yachts, some have canoes, and some are drowning. Just be kind and help whoever you can."
Yeah, that's pretty spot on, I think.
I think so, too.
And use the billionaires as flotation devices.
And,
they're bloated enough.
you got to get them off their yachts first.
And I think, and I've said this before, but the book, I hate when I do that. Start talking about something and my brain goes. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a great book to read if something you think about is like, I'm not doing as well as so-and-so, or I'm not doing as well as I want to be, and because you think you're a failure or you're not doing good. It's all about perspective. Don't compare yourself to other people. If you're able to do what you like doing and your people like what you do, then you are succeeding. Regardless of how you compare to the other person, you're doing well enough that people enjoy what you do. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, big thanks to Chief for coming on, talking about, joining us for this and hanging out with us. If you aren't already, what's wrong with you? Become a subscriber.
I became a subscriber.
$3 a month or $30 a year.
Oh, and I get a tattoo at 1,000.
1,000 followers, right, on YouTube?
A tattoo of what?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh, okay.
We get to drive.
We'll get Chief's face tattooed in the back.
Mary will love that
Cross
one.
blaster.
I got a couple images we can work with.
Nice. But if you're not a member, be one. We've got lots of content behind that paywall, including blogs and videos, and our bonus round, which we're going to do next, which this week is going to be our best fictional villains across all media.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that next.
Yeah. And if you're listening on the normal podcasting app, don't forget we have our socials too at our town pod on Instagram and Facebook. And
we ain't hard to find.
Yeah.
Look us up. Get there.
It's
Thanks,
totally-
guys.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, vlogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.